Hi, this is Keith Bryant from the Keith Bryant Show at Productronica 2021. Here on the last day, and I'm here with Miles from Kick. We had a quick interview with each other 2 weeks ago, and a long way from home, so to speak. So for the audience that didn't hear the last one, tell us what's new and exciting within Kick.
Well, it's been an interesting year for everyone, I think, but it gave Kick an opportunity to kind of reassess where we can go forward, if the path we were taking was the right one, and really delve in on the R&D side. This year we introduced a wave process inspection system. We've always been really strong on reflow and thought that was an area we could pursue more. So that's our kind of big exciting thing for this year is wave process inspection, kind of to match what our capabilities on reflow.
Yeah, with the EV batteries and vehicles and a whole load of other stuff, then through-hole is still very strong out there, and in a lot of the assemblers that I talk to, their through-hole business is actually growing. So when they told us a few years ago that wave was dead, in fact quite a few years ago, then I think that was not a good comment.
No, yeah, it's that's been continually said, and the area, the process continues to grow. The machines, have advanced and more mature, have more control, but there's still that aspect on the wave solder machine. The wave itself is very dynamic, has a lot of variables, and we've kind of been able to capture what's happening there during production and give real-time feedback so that the manufacturer can adjust and get the quality levels on wave that they're used to getting on reflow as well.
Yeah, and I guess with lead-free, you have higher temperature demands in the whole ecosystem as well. So that's got to be more challenging.
Yeah, the higher temperatures, the process windows, because you go up higher in temperature, but the materials you're using, the components, they set an upper limit. So now the process you have to run in is very tight. So to be able on the wave, especially, where it's typically it's broken down to, it's actually 3 separate processes. You have the flux, preheating, and then the actual soldering through the wave. And we're able to capture and help the customer optimize and then manage the process and the temperature profile along with dwell, that was the key R&D development, was we're able to give a real-time dwell calculation through the wave during production for every board.
Wow, so pretty much you produce a graph that shows exactly what temperature and time is looking like all the way through.
Yep, and then any drift, the manufacturer, the engineer will see it immediately rather than when it's reported as a defect in inspection. They see a drift occurring and can make adjustments in real time.
Yeah, and I guess, as you say, with the higher temperatures, you're running a much narrower process window, so keeping everything within the window becomes much harder, but also much more important.
Yeah, and that's where kind of the solution comes. Is okay, the customers have seen the Kick solutions being able to provide that on reflow, and have kind of keep on kind of hammering away at us saying, hey, can you do the same thing for wave? So we took the effort and energy and came up with something we think is really strong and unique that will give them value.
Right, and how are the visitors at Productronica taking the new technology?
We actually had a talk right over here about wave process and the advantages of monitoring dwell and peak on the wave and reducing defects. And we had a lot of feedback from that back at our booth, customers coming to see, how exactly does that work? How can I implement it in my factory? And as well, just in general at the show, we've been very pleased. Given the situation, we weren't quite sure, how many visitors would be here, what would they be looking for, and surprisingly, every day so far, we've been busy. Good questions coming from the visitors at our booth. They're looking, to get things done very soon.
Yep. Yeah, it seems to be, the general consensus is a lower level of visitor, but a higher quality of visitor, and that's what everybody wants at a show.
Yeah, it kind of, the qualification of the visitor becomes easy because they have very direct motives coming to this show in particular, because they can't just send people here just to kind of look around. So the conversations have been really strong, really good.
Well, it's good to hear that Productronica has been a success for you, Miles, and thanks for coming in and sharing with us. And
thank
we'll
you.
see you somewhere around the world soon.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thank you.
SMT Thermal Discoveries are the experts in thermal processes from -50 degrees Celsius up to 450 degrees Celsius. With highly stable reflow soldering systems, vacuum soldering to reduce voiding in solder joints, whether you need temperature treatment systems with standard equipment or flexible solutions, SMT Thermal Discoveries have the machine to your thermal challenge. For micro dispensing, there is one product line that is proven and trusted by manufacturers in semiconductor packaging, electronics assembly, medical device, and electromechanical assembly the world over. DL Technology, superior pumps and needles for the finer things in life.
Hi, and welcome to the Keith Bryant Show at Productronica 2021. We're here on the last day, and my guest this afternoon is Francesco, who is CEO of Critical Manufacturing. They were an acquisition by ASM, and as I understand it, you're driving the Industry 4.0 and some of the new stuff. So please tell us a lot more about what it is.
Yeah, thank you, Keith. Very good. Yes, so software is playing each time a more important role everywhere across the entire industry, and in SMT this is no exception. So the big hardware providers such as ASM are getting more and more software elements, and these software elements may range, they may be applied in many different areas, and we have a lot of different solutions that are enhancing the portfolio of ASM solutions, and this goes into connectivity. Connectivity is still a very important area. Automation. At the ASM show here at Productronica, we're seeing a lot of AIVs, automatic transportation systems, material towers and everything, and it's the workflows, the software that rules all of these things that are happening is things that we do. And then the analytics, the data that an SMT production creates, it's first of all huge in size, and it produces a lot of potential in many different areas when it comes to optimizing things, increasing productivity, increasing quality, and all of these things. And so, it's very exciting how, a big powerhouse like ASM is being transformed by the software that we provide to them.
Yeah, it's software with Industry 4.0, Smart Factory, whatever you would like to call it, is, it's been around for a couple of years, but really now we're coming out of COVID, it seems to be a big driver for a lot of people, because they want the efficiency, they want the automation to an extent, but they need the feedback from what the data is telling them, so they can keep their process within the optimization window.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's you're right that Industry 4.0 had a lot of promises, but then it's taking a while until it really produces the value that it was supposed to produce. But I think we're really coming there. what we see from the productivity increases from applying machine learning methods into data, we're really being able to optimize a lot of the operations within the ASM customers, which is mostly what we want to do.
And you're able to get feedback from all of the machines within the ASM range for effectively for your data for like a central area?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're actually, the topic for today at ASM is the open automation. And open automation means that our solutions are not just ASM specific. So the idea is that we connect to any sort of machines using different types of protocols, like the new IPC-CFX, for instance, and other types of protocols. So we gather data from all different machines in order to create value. In terms of automation, we not only automate the ASM areas, so we're coming a little bit more, into a higher level from the equipment and line level into the factory level. And so we need to play along with, any type of vendor, any type of system which exists in there, and in order to really create value, not just for the ASM machines, but for customers at the end, which is what matters.
So it's an actual real and honest open source type system, and it really gives you a factory control rather than a control of part of the production line.
Absolutely, that's the essential element of it. It's really to go above the line level, go into the factory level, and optimize everything across the entire factory.
Yeah, and before CFX appeared, then that was really the thing that was missing, was that you could communicate with this, from this guy to this guy, and you could maybe communicate here, but you couldn't communicate to the whole thing, and then you only get part of a picture, and then you can't really make informed decisions.
Absolutely, and I come from other industries, and in other industries, type of interfaces were already available. In the SMT, it was not, so there was many different protocols, and it was very difficult to gather data from all of these machines. Now with IPC-CFX, we're coming closer to that point. Of course, the implementations of IPC-CFX are taking some time as well from the different vendors, but as they come in to become true, then the amount of insights that can be generated is completely different from what we were in the past.
Yeah, I can remember when people started talking about CFX, they said it'll never fly because people don't want their machines to communicate with others. And now things are, so much more that people have become enlightened, and I think now it's really gaining momentum.
Exactly, and it's not just about collecting data, which is just one side of things, right? But it's really controlling the processes, so be able to communicate bidirectionally with the machines. It's about the interlocking processes to make sure that the machine is producing with the right program for that particular product, for instance. This is the kind of things that a good level of automation and connectivity allows to do.
Yeah, and I guess ultimately what it does do, it gives control to the senior engineers or the guys who are ever looking at the screens so that they can get an idea of exactly where the process is.
Especially, yeah. And as Industry 4.0 becomes more of a reality, we have less persons inside the shop floor, but we'll have more and more people that's required to analyze the data and to make sense out of the data. And that's a transformation that we're helping to do.
And these guys who are looking to analyze the data, can they look at more than one production line at a time and maybe even more than one site?
Absolutely. So we provide the global view as well. So it's not just line by line comparison. It's site by site comparison and having a global picture of all their production installations worldwide.
Great, so they can use the benefits that they find from one area into another area, and there's a great sharing of knowledge and information.
Exactly, it's sharing, it's benchmarking, is getting knowledge and improving from one side to the other. That's exactly what they can do.
Yeah, that sounds like something that's very powerful, and I'm sure it's a little way away still to be ultimately doing what it does, but
yep, absolutely.
It's great news for the industry where we're up against more challenges for productivity, for yield, for all of these things. So.
Yeah, exactly. But this is a journey, like you said. It's not. This is a journey, but it's a journey that is starting to produce results, and it's coming very, very fast.
Yeah. And being part of the ASM family, I guess that puts you in one of the strongest positions that you are within the industry.
Yeah, it does help, but it also comes with high expectations that customers have from us. But so far the journey has been great, and it's great to be part of the ASM family for sure.
Well, it's good to hear that a success so far, and I'm sure it's going to be a success going forward. So thank you for coming in and sharing with us.
Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure.
SMT Thermal Discoveries are the experts in thermal processes from -50 degrees Celsius up to 450 degrees Celsius. With highly stable reflow soldering systems, vacuum soldering to reduce voiding in solder joints, whether you need temperature treatment systems with standard equipment or flexible solutions, SMT Thermal Discoveries have the machine to your thermal challenges. For micro dispensing, there is one product line that is proven and trusted by manufacturers in semiconductor packaging, electronics assembly, medical device, and electromechanical assembly the world over. DL Technology, superior pumps and needles for the finer things in life.
Hi, welcome back to the Keith Bryant Show at Productronica 2021, and I'm here with my good friend Vladimir from PBT. And I guess my first question is, how's the market coming after COVID? And then we'll talk about your new stuff a bit later.
Hello everybody, thanks to being here. We were surprised. The first months last year after COVID was, we were very scared about the orders, about payments especially. But then we realized that although we work for electronic industry, we work for very different sectors, like automotive, avionics, medical, and so on and so on. And always some of them is producing and making orders. And now we are full of orders, much more than a year before. Probably the waiting was too long, and now the people like to invest.
Yep. And is that across most of the areas?
I don't know the exact situation in the other areas of the assembly, but what I know, soldering is the same, and placement may be similar.
Okay, and you're seeing it across the board: avionics, automotive, all of the market sectors.
Not exactly, not. But automotive changed from engines to hybrids and electro and automatic cars. And that went up tremendous, so new lines are built and the requirements for reliability are very much growing, so this brings us opportunity to use our technology for cleaning boards. Yep. For high reliability.
And I think you have something new on your booth as well?
Yes, we are following the trends. So basically we have more new things, but one I would like to mention is connected with ecology or environmental and also high quality. We have developed, after several years of studying and testing, a new sensor for non-ionic contamination in the water, because normally in the cleaning machines you measure the conductivity and that's it. And if the conductivity is okay, everybody thinks that we are okay, on the good side. And this is actually not true, because the growing demands for reliability requires also the non-ionic cleanness. A, for PC boards which works in vacuum for space. B, for good surface tension before coating and also before wire bonding. And the heterogeneous integration can contain all these parties, and this is what we are concentrated on in the last moment. So this sensor will help us to increase quality, and on the other side, if we pour wastewater from the machine, this can be calibrated in COD, that's total oxidation demand, and this is what everybody likes to see in every minute, what's going on from the machine, and you can sort the water and save money and save the environment. That's our new thing.
Yeah, well, I have to say that ticks a lot of boxes. I mean, I can go back to when people were still discharging copper into the wastewater and it was causing huge problems everywhere. But you know, if you guys can have this much control over not only the cleanliness of what you're working with, but the cleanliness of what you're having to dispose as well, and you know exactly what's happening, then yeah, that's a huge step forward. So.
Yeah, we believe that will set another step in the quality as well as in the environmental behaving of our part of the technology.
And we're on day 3 of the show, so how have the visitors taken to this new sensor technology?
We were very scared about the visitors, but I would say it's almost the same like in 2019. And for us was, even if we would not have visitors, very important to meet face to face our reps, because we have reps all over the world. But beside of that, they brought a lot of the customers with real projects, and this is for us always the best.
Yeah, the general feeling from the show is visitor numbers may be a little bit down, but the quality of the visitors is way higher.
Exactly. I only can agree.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we want. We don't want thousands of people walking past our booth. We want enough people coming on it to make it worthwhile.
For me, it's the best 10 good leads and as 100 observers.
Yep. And as you say, it's also good to show your distributors the new stuff in reality rather than online, and it's good to meet them. And
we have learned a lot.
Industry. Yeah.
We have learned a lot in these 2 years. We can even make installation remote online. Yeah, but it's always best to sit and perhaps drink a beer in the pub and be in contact with the people.
Oh, so you don't have beer on your stand, you only have it in the pub?
We do.
Why am I not surprised? Okay, very well. Thank you for coming in and sharing with us. And
thank you.
Thank you for coming to the show, and I hope all your distributors are enjoying it, and I wish you a lot of success.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank
Bye.
you.
SMT Thermal Discoveries are the experts in thermal processes from -50 degrees Celsius up to 450 degrees Celsius. With highly stable reflow soldering systems, vacuum soldering to reduce voiding in solder joints, whether you need temperature treatment systems with standard equipment or flexible solutions, SMT Thermal Discoveries have the machine to your thermal challenges. For micro dispensing, there is one product line that is proven and trusted by manufacturers in semiconductor packaging, electronics assembly, medical device, and electromechanical assembly the world over. DL Technology, superior pumps and needles for the finer things in life.
Hi, this is Keith Bryant for the Keith Bryant Show at Productronica 2021. This is my last interview of the week. And as they say, you always save the best to last. I'm here with Tom Forsyth from Kaizen. And we met a couple of weeks ago in the States at the SMT-AI show. And now you've traveled all the way to Productronica, Tom, so I hope it's been worth the journey.
Oh, it certainly has. You know, it's great, as we spoke about a few weeks ago, it's great to see that the game is back in the game. That, people are coming out, we're finding opportunities, people are trying to find answers to their questions, and we're all getting out of the building and getting together.
Yeah, and I guess you're able to meet your European distribution network as well, so that's a good thing after 20 months.
Absolutely. You know, as a growing company, you know, it's not just about our direct staff, it's about our partners, you know, our distributors over here, our reps and distributors in the U.S. and other countries. And, you know, while they're long-standing and smart folks, getting together just helps, right? That water cooler, oh, by the way, what's going on sort of discussions are so much better in person.
Yeah, and have you learned anything from them where you need to be going for the future without sharing any secrets?
Well, you know, the beauty of dialogue is that it's always a two-way street. And frankly, the biggest benefit from these events, while we look forward to the leads and that sort of stuff, but where we win is those learnings. Questions from people that come by the stand, questions from our partners that are dealing with an issue out there somewhere. That's the real takeaway from these, and we're certainly having plenty of those this week.
Yeah, cleaning seems to become, we've probably said it for a few years now, but cleaning seems to become a bigger and bigger issue. People are worrying about getting underneath low standoff components. They're getting worried about what's been left behind in their systems.
Absolutely.
And when reliability becomes something that's more and more important, then you guys are really at the sharp edge.
Exactly. I mean, those are all trends that are standard in our industry, right? Things are getting smaller. Things are becoming more important. And just look at phones, for example. When mobile phones started, they were phones. If the phone broke, well, you didn't get a phone call. That wasn't, most times that wasn't life or death. But now our lives are hung up around our phones. We do our banking, all of our communication, all this. And when it dies, it's not perhaps a tragedy, it's a major headache. And that's just emblematic of how pervasive and important electronics have been. And maybe that's why our industry has been so resilient during the pandemic. The staffing levels, the layoffs and things that affected many other industries, we weren't immune from them, but they were much lower, much smaller degree. And why is that? Because people needed our stuff. Yep. Collectively, we've invented all of and produced all of these instruments and devices and cameras and mobiles and whatnot that allowed us all to function remotely. Decades ago, those things hadn't been invented; it wouldn't have been possible. So we've shown the value proposition that we delivered to the world. Once again, not just with life-saving technologies in the medical front or things like that, but in this enabling front of how do we do stuff like this and keep going. So our customers and our industry in general have been very resilient. The automotive guys took it on the chin a little bit, but everybody else, really came through with flying colors on average.
Yeah, and now with electronics becoming more and more of the important thing within vehicles, with EV and everything else, then people are still worrying about dendrites, they're worrying about contamination, and they're worrying in spades about some of these things.
Oh, absolutely, and EVs are a key focus area, because once again, back when the only thing in your car was the radio that was electronic, or even just the ancillary things, that the environmental system, that sort of stuff. Well, you could press on, you could hum to yourself, you could open the windows.
Yeah.
But when it's your brakes, your engine, and everything else, well, you can't press on. And we all think that when things fail, they simply stop. Sometimes when things fail, they fail awkwardly. So failures are not only an inconvenience, failures are a risk. And when failures are a risk, that's where cleaning comes in.
Yep.
Because we by removing all those residues and the trace residues that maybe don't cause too many problems too often, now all of a sudden you're increasing that reliability, you're decreasing that risk, and in these more systems where life could be in the balance, not isn't, like a medical device, life's generally in the balance. There's not a lot of doubt there. Well, an EV, I'd say that's a bit of an overstatement, but it could be in the balance, and that's good for cleaning technology, but it also increases the challenges.
Yep.
The demanding designs and applications, and that helps us push our products forward to try to meet that new standard of need.
And if it leads to a product recall, then that is life and death probably for the company in some cases.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, reliability is both a technical truism, but there's also a tremendous customer perception involved in that. If people think, that's what branding's about. Why do we buy certain cookies or certain diapers or certain whatevers? Well, because we have faith in that brand. We know it's always reliable day in and day out. Many, particularly you think about EV and other places, well, there's a few household brands that everybody knows, but there's a lot of new brands that some people know.
Yeah.
And if they were to have some encounters, well, it could be more problematic. They may not get through it.
Yeah.
So again, helping people improve reliability and decrease the risk of that failure is our stock and trade, frankly.
Yeah. And what a lot of other people don't realize is, we're used to 12 volts for cars, 24 volts for lorries, and now with EV we're talking like 450 volts.
Right, which again, increases the risk presented by the same contamination that was there before.
Yep.
So I'm looking at a contamination that's not overly scary. So, well, it's been okay in the lorries and those other cars, but not so much at 480 volts.
Yeah.
That's not unlike what's gone on in medical and space systems and military things over the decades, where they were pushing the boundaries, pushing the envelope. Well, we've got enough trouble with this boundary pushing design that may present that we simply can't forecast. Well, let's get rid of the stuff that maybe it's not going to kill us, we don't think, but it'd be better if we didn't have to worry about that at all.
Yeah.
And that's the evolution in the cleaning business. That's the kind of stuff that we see every day.
Yeah. So you describe cleaning now as the mitigation of risks.
Oh, absolutely. It always has been.
Yeah. But more so now, I think.
Well, I think it helps people understand it better.
Yeah.
Because remember, we've been through no cleaning is 25, 30 years now. I mean, it's been a long time.
Yep.
And it's worked pretty darn well. I mean, everything we're using to communicate today, that we're taping and lights and all of this is no clean. And it's working fine. You'll pack it up. You'll use it again at another event or something. It's proved a very resilient and robust process, even though it was never embraced as I'm not going to clean it material for many, many high reliability applications where that risk was out of balance.
Yeah.
We're just expanding the world where people make that decision. Frankly, we're not expanding the world where it's not like people are going to buy no clean things. They're just going to clean them.
Yep. And I think that's becoming more of what I would describe as the after COVID new normal. Is people are starting to have to clean more and more. And
oh yeah, it's COVID didn't trigger that. It's just become a bit more apparent, I think.
Yeah.
And it's been a gradual trend. The percentage of people in the industry that have cleaned has been gradually growing for some time, and it will continue to gradually grow. It's not doubling or anything like that, but it's someday it will probably, but we'll get there one step at a time.
Well, it's good to know that you're on a good growth there, Com. And as always, thank you for coming in and sharing with us. And I wish you an enjoyable rest of the show and safe travels home, and hopefully see you somewhere around the world sometime soon. And that's Keith Bryant signing off for this year's Keith Bryant Show at Productronica. And thank you for listening.
SMT Thermal Discoveries are the experts in thermal processes from -50 degrees Celsius up to 450 degrees Celsius. With highly stable reflow soldering systems, vacuum soldering to reduce voiding in solder joints, whether you need temperature treatment systems with standard equipment or flexible solutions, SMT Thermal Discoveries have the machine to your thermal challenges. For micro dispensing, there is one product line that is proven and trusted by manufacturers in semiconductor packaging, electronics assembly, medical device, and electromechanical assembly the world over. DL Technology, superior pumps and needles for the finer things in life.
Hi, this is Keith Bryant again at the Keith Bryant Show, and luckily we have one more guest, so I can say once more we've saved the best till last. I'm with Sasha from Finetech, who have I would describe it as maybe low volume die bonding. Yeah.
Maybe.
So tell me a bit about how the show's been for you and products that you have out here and all the exciting stuff.
Oh, all the exciting stuff. I hope we have a lot of time because there are a few. Show has been much better than expected. It's great to be here. It's great to see faces, even without mouth and nose because of the mask. But we have so many good talks and really interesting projects, advanced projects, challenging projects. But that's what we want to do, and that's what we are here for. So it's been nice. It is still nice, and the last day, I hope it will stay the same. So I'm glad we came. What we show here is right now, we have some systems there. Of course, our flip chip bonders, die bonders for R&D, so for manual purposes, or also some automatic equipment for low volume production. But that's not our focus. We show our new mission we want to spread into the world. Our new idea, it's the pathway, the prototype to production, or let's make it a little bit larger, R&D to production. Because we want that every idea every engineer has the opportunity or the chance to become reality. Because there are a lot of good ideas, and so many I have seen, they never make it into production, and that's we want to change.
Okay, so you're planning to work closer and closer with the R&D departments of your customers.
Yeah, we did since 30 years nearly, and but now we want to go further. Not only the R&D. From the beginning, we want to talk about R&D, but also with the focus. Hey, later on, you want to produce it. So let's think about this from the beginning, but without limiting you at the beginning, because R&D must be flexible, open, and you need to do everything. But the production, you need to focus on one thing. So those two worlds we want to combine.
Okay, so it's a little bit like design for manufacturing plus.
Yeah, more or less, yeah. And that's the good thing. That's the challenge we have every day. And for us, this is a new way of thinking.
Yeah, and I suppose it from you it needs a flexible approach in terms of being able to react to what the needs of your customers are today and also next year.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because even some customers don't know what they want to do next year. You start in development and you don't know even what's happening tomorrow. And this is a really, really high flexibility you need there, because you don't work as a system supplier anymore. You work as a problem solver. And we, as a company, work very, very closely with our customers together to be partners. Yeah.
Okay, and is the biggest thing that you're seeing more demanding limits, everything getting smaller and smaller, bumps getting smaller, everything getting closer together, or are there other things that you're seeing as well?
Yesterday I had a request. They have chips at 120 by 120 millimeters, so smaller I can't see.
And they're still calling it a flip chip. Huh?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's so diverse. Yeah, of course we see a lot of things that getting very, very small chips that get down to 30 microns by 30 microns. Really, really small stuff, even with bumps on it. So. But at the same time, a customer comes to us with really large chips. So that's a huge bridge we have to gap. But that's the interesting part there.
Okay. Are you also involving a TAME or a preferred material supplier when you're doing this stuff, or are you able to cope with the solutions yourself with the materials that are out there today?
Yeah, of course, we work together with material supplier. Even with new companies or institutes, we have a very, very strong relationship to institutes that are working on new technologies. Yeah, like clad welding is quite new, pretty unknown in the whole industry. Sintering was developed years ago, tons of years ago, but never made the step into the mass production. So even those ones, we are working close together with the suppliers and also the developers.
So you're spending a lot of time in what I would call research rather than research and development. You're really looking back at the, as you say, right at the very beginning, which is probably unique within the people that you compete with. Huh?
Yeah, but that's what we want to do because we came from the R&D side, and there you want to do everything. You want to try new stuff. You want to combine things that sound weird, but it helps to get new ways, get new approaches, and that's what we like to do. And our whole team is designed or is made for this, with own R&D departments, with own application departments, own demo rooms, clean rooms to support this.
So really, you have this great potential now where your new machine development is based very, very much on what the customers are going to be looking for. So there's a very, very closeness between the two now.
Yes, I can't really say more because that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're doing that, then obviously it's going to be a tremendous benefit for you guys going forwards, because you're always going to be that close to what is going to be happening tomorrow.
Yeah, I can say I've seen a lot of things much ahead of everyone else because we have been part of the development, and this is really the nice thing for me in private. When I walk down the streets and I see something, I say, hey, we were part of this development, and that makes me proud, of course.
Yeah, that's got to be a good feeling. It's definitely a nice way to get job satisfaction, Sasha. And I have to say, I like the ethos of FineTech very much. So
thank you.
No, thank you for coming in and sharing with us. And that's Keith Bryant, definitely this time, signing off from Productronica 2021 and the Keith Bryant Show. See you somewhere around the world sometime soon.
SMT Thermal Discoveries are the experts in thermal processes from -50 degrees Celsius up to 450 degrees Celsius. With highly stable reflow soldering systems, vacuum soldering to reduce voiding in solder joints, whether you need temperature treatment systems with standard equipment or flexible solutions, SMT Thermal Discoveries have the machine to your thermal challenges. For micro dispensing, there is one product line that is proven and trusted by manufacturers in semiconductor packaging, electronics assembly, medical device, and electromechanical assembly the world over. DL Technology, superior pumps and needles for the finer things in life.
Keith Bryant Show from Productronica, and I'm here with Sean from Cyber Optics. So Sean, first day of the show, not quite halfway through yet. How's it looking so far?
Keith, great to be on your show. Thanks for the invitation. Show's going quite well, actually. I'm pleasantly surprised. We've had quite a few customer visits to the booth already, so great to meet back in person. So that's a big plus. So far, so good.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest one that everybody's saying. You know, it's good to see people in 3 dimensions again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, hopefully the show is going to be the first big step forward to something better. So, what have you got on your stand at the moment?
Well, we've got the SQ3000 3D AOI system on the stand, Keith, and we're exhibiting or demonstrating our CMM capability. So we've developed some unique metrology-based CMM software. So we're not only able to do 3D AOI at high speed, the system can actually be an inline high-speed CMM solution for metrology. So we're demonstrating those features today.
Wow, so you've really got the ability to measure that accurately now.
Correct. We're down to the sensor on the booth is at 7 microns 3D, that's lateral resolution, and we have a 0.5 micron Z resolution. So we can measure features down to 2 microns in X, Y, and Z.
So what does that allow you to find that you couldn't find before?
We can do most advanced SMT applications quite easily down to this resolution, but what we're able to do now is micro LED, O201 metric, pure measurement, wire bond inspection. So it's really advancing the 3D AOI capabilities.
Yeah, and it's getting what I'm seeing in several shows here. Historically, we've all been faster, and now it's more about flexibility. It's more about accuracy. It's more about getting more out of the machine.
Absolutely, Keith. Yeah, and I think with 3D, it's enabling us now to be more precise, as you pointed out, for sure, more accurate, less errors, less false failures. So we can set up a pure measurement process now rather than just a go, no-go process. So we need less operator intervention.
Right, and this is something that's been out on the market before because of COVID, or is this effectively your launch?
It was, I think we launched it just pre-COVID, but it's probably the first exhibition where we've been able to kind of demonstrate it in person for sure. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's good to see people coming back after COVID, and also equipment getting back out into the industry and people talking about it, and things moving forward. Because for about 20 months there was, to be honest, not a lot going on.
Well, I think everyone's tiring of the Zoom and the Teams calls, Keith. Definitely, it's nice to press some flesh and talk in person. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you've got a great product like you have, it's very hard to show it in 2D, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. It's great to get customers on the booth and and demonstrate it real time. No smoke and mirrors.
Yes. Yeah. That's always the danger when you do stuff with Zoom. I've even seen people that can make me look good on a Zoom call. So, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing with us, and I hope you have a lot of success with the new equipment at the show and beyond.
Pleasure, Keith. Thanks very much.
For micro dispensing, there is one product line that is proven and trusted by manufacturers in semiconductor packaging, electronics assembly, medical device, and electromechanical assembly the world over. DL Technology, superior pumps and needles for the finer things in life. SMT Thermal Discoveries are the experts in thermal processes from -50 degrees Celsius up to 450 degrees Celsius. With highly stable reflow soldering systems, vacuum soldering to reduce voiding in solder joints, whether you need temperature treatment systems with standard equipment or flexible solutions, SMT Thermal Discoveries have the machine to your thermal challenges.
Welcome back to the Keith Bryant Show at Productronica, and I'm here with my good friend Alberto, who 3 months ago became the Managing Director of Plasma Treat, one of the things which is definitely growing in our industry as a technology and a need because of conformal coating and a whole load of other reasons. So I guess the first question, Alberto, is are you enjoying it so far?
Absolutely, Keith. But I want to correct you. I'm Managing Director for Plasma Treat Nordic. It's for the Nordic setup. So that is important.
Oh, my apologies. Yes,
No
Nordic
problem.
is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But you're enjoying it. It's obviously a different organization, a different setup than where you've been for. I won't say how many years because it makes us both look old. But
Yeah.
where you've been for a long time. So no, it's, I guess it's a new challenge, and you felt it was the right time.
It is. And no, it's no secret. I worked for Mycronic for 21 years. I had fantastic 21 years with Mycronic. But I came to a point in my life where I felt that it might be interesting to do something different. So I joined the Plasma Treat group. So the very, very good. It's Plasma Treat. It's actually a family-owned company based in Steinhagen in Germany. We are approximately around 300 people. So this is the same size as My Data was back in the days where I started 21 years ago, which is today Mycronic. So yeah, it's very interesting, very interesting.
Good. And obviously, part of the reason that you're there is to grow the Nordic business and to find new applications. And
Yes.
I know you've taken on one or two very good salespeople already. So,
Yeah.
how is the business model looking?
The business model is as follows: that our headquarters for the Scandinavian setup will be located in Göteborg. And the reason to that is that Göteborg is a little bit of an industrial hub in Scandinavia. Due to the reason that Volvo is located there with a big factory, you have the bearing manufacturer SKF, so you have a lot of heavy industry in that region, and geographically it's well positioned. So what we do is actually that we are building up our team with we will have application engineer, we will have salespeople, but we will also work with distributors and or partners, better said, partners in the other countries like Denmark, Norway, Finland, and also the Baltic states.
Okay, so you're bigger than just electronics now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and this is very, very interesting because I come from the electronic industry, as you know, Keith. But now we are everywhere where there is a surface needed to be pre-treated. So, a very big part of our customers and also from our revenue point of view, it's the automotive. I would say that this is the biggest part today, and that is just growing, especially now where we have the movement with the EV batteries, with the wire bonding. There is surfaces which need to be treated, so there is so many applications in a car. I think it's in total it's counted to like 100 different applications, just in an ordinary car. So that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, that's a lot of very nice applications. But you do quite a bit in electronics as well, and from what I've seen, plasma in electronics is a growing need for the last 6 months and longer.
It is, and a lot of this is driven by the new regulations. With VOC, we want to get rid of these volatile organic compounds. the electronic industry is not different than the packaging industry or the automotive and so on, because the driving forces are actually the same. Everything needs to be more environmentally friendly. We want to get rid of the wet chemicals, primers in the industry. So plasma treatment is actually the solution, which replaces the old way to clean surfaces.
Yeah. So not only are you increasing your business, but you're good for the planet as well. Huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. Environmental friendly. This is one of the mottos we have in the company.
Okay. Well, my friend, I wish you every success and thank you for joining me. This is Keith Bryant signing off from the Keith Bryant Show at Productronica 2021.